This is the English Literature Web YouTube channel. I am Prof.L.B.Gayakawad who is teaching here today the character of Antonio, Part 3 and video number 35. In the part second, we have seen that there is the great love between Bassanio and Antonio. That's why Antonio is loving Bassanio too much. And Antonio has come into many problems because of the love of his with Bassanio, and that's why the friendship of Bassanio and Antonio is called as the homosexual. But we have seen that it is not the homosexual relationship because more loving of two persons is not called the homosexual relationship. Here today we are discussing about the character with different type of the corners of Antonio. Antonio can be satisfied in life if he loves Bassanio. And if he does not love Bassanio, he feels that he will not be satisfied in his life. It means that there is a fear in the mind of Antonio that the law of Bassanio only can make him satisfied, and only because of this psychological fear in the mind of this Antonio is doing all this, and he is coming into the problems of the situation only because of the law of this Bassanio. And so only he helps Bassanio and comes into the problematic situation, and finally he comes into the catch of the Shylock, I will say. The Shylock here I am using the article before Shylock because in this play, The Merchant of Venice, Shylock is the character which is very much bad character. It is the character of a Jew, and he is the particular Jew, and he is the man of money lending. That is, he is the money lender, and he lends money to the persons on the condition of high rate of interest. And that's why this gentleman, it is called Antonio, has come into the problematic catch of Shylock, and it is happened, or it has happened only because of the love of Antonio with Bassanio. We have a pity for Antonio, as Bassanio also takes a wrong benefit of Antonio. Now, it is the rule of the friendship that if one friend is loving second friend, then it becomes a duty of the friends to love each other in a similar way. But here, Bassanio is the particular friend who takes the wrong benefit of this Antonio, and that's why here we can say that the character of Antonio has come into the problems in the life because Bassanio doesn't take seriously the love of this Antonio, and that's why this Antonio has come or is coming always in the problems of I will say the situation, or finally he has come into the problem with Shylock only because of the love of Bassanio. Bassanio never fulfills as the best friend of Antonio. Remember, William Shakespeare has said that friendship is such a thing in which the two friends are united with true minds. If one friend is unhappy, the second friend cannot be happy. This is the real situation of the friendship, but such type of friendship is not here. painted by William Shakespeare, told by William Shakespeare in the play The Merchant of Venice. Because Bassanio is not taking seriously about the law of Antonio, and that's why this situation is very much opposite of the situation in the poem which Shakespeare has said. People take loan from Antonio and they also take the wrong benefit of Antonio. Remember, here it is the tragedy of such a person that if the person is kind hearted, benevolent hearted, or if that person looks good of others, then those persons take the benefit of that person wrongly. They do not think of his emotions, and that is the important point here, that the people for whom Antonio is doing his life, or I will say he is giving them the money, though he is the money lender, but he is not the money lender in the sense of selfishness. He gives money to the persons, people, and he does not collect the interest from them. But this situation is not proper for this Antonio, because the people also take the wrong benefit of Antonio. And that's why here I will say that the situation itself, or I will say Antonio himself, has become his own enemy, because Antonio is a person of such mind that he cannot uh, change his mind. He can uh, he can want, or he wants that he must do goodness only in his life, though people are cheating him, though people are duping him, though his friend is not working for him, or though his friend is also taking his benefit. Means here Antonio is really such a person who is really above all the friendships in life. Means he has crossed the limits of friendship, and that's why here this friendship is very much ideal friendship of Antonio with Bassanio. Because of this situation only, he has come into the problem of the bond of the pound flesh of his body, which he has said to give to Shylock, the villain. And that's why here the condition of the love of Antonio is really the great one, and his friendship is really appreciable friendship according to the, I will say, in the sense of the culture in the society. Then again, we have seen here that the people are there who are also uh, uh, very shrewd people, or very bad people, because they take money from this Antonio and then they do not return interest also to Antonio, though Antonio, with his benevolent heart, says them that there is no need of giving me the interest. But these people take wrong benefit. They become shameless, and they take the wrong benefit of this Antonio's love. That is the important point. But it is said that if man does something good for others, God helps him. So, human service is the God service. Means service to man is service to God. That is the point. And here, this Antonio has loved too much this Bassanio, and that's why this thing does not go to be lost. And here, in the form of Portia, the beloved of Bassanio, comes very near to Antonio, and she saves this Antonio from the catch of Shylock. This Portia saves Antonio knowing that Antonio has taken money from Shylock on the condition of paying a pound of flesh if he fails to return his money on proper time. Remember, the situation is very serious because this Antonio coming into the, I will say, proud or the haughtiness or the pride, I will say. He has taken the decision that he will return the money of Shylock on the proper time. And if he does not return the money of Shylock on the proper time, he will pay the pound of flesh of his body to Shylock. It means that if Antonio permits to give the pound of flesh to Shylock, then this Antonio will die. When this Antonio made this bond with Shylock, this Antonio did not think that the time will bring attention with him, attention before him. And that really happened. And Antonio became really very much unable, incapable to return the money of Shylock. And because of this now, this Shylock got the great chance to take revenge on this Antonio, because this Antonio, being the respectable man in the society, he had insulted Shylock too much. This was also the mistake of Antonio, because though he is Jew by caste, or though he takes the wrong benefit of people by giving them money, though he takes a lot of interest on his money, uh, it is not necessary on the part of Antonio that he should hate Shylock. And this mistake of Antonio comes into the mind of Shylock, and this Shylock becomes very much angry, and he wants to take the revenge on Antonio, and that's why now with that bond, this Shylock catches him too much, and Portia saves then Antonio, because there is the question of Antonio's body, or Antonio's life, and this thing is very much a challenging thing before the advocate Portia, and that's why she disguises herself, means she changes herself, and my point is that she changes her dress, she changes her all appearance, means disguises herself, and then she cheats Shylock. How she cheats Shylock, we will see next. Shylock wants to kill Antonio by cutting the pound of flesh from his body. Remember, this Shylock has decided to cut the pound of flesh from Antonio's body. But Portia feels that this Shylock should be defeated in the court, and that's why she decides to defeat this Shylock in the court. That's why she takes this Shylock into the court. As per the bond, Antonio must return the money to Shylock with 3 months. Here the point is that in the bond, Antonio has given a word that he will return the money of Shylock within 3 months. And what happens? Antonio cannot return that money in the period of 3 months. And this thing becomes very much problematic on the part of Antonio. Here we can say that man should not make any kind of haughtiness, or man shouldn't have any kind of overconfidence. This Antonio has or had the overconfidence at that time. And that's why, because of that overconfidence and because of that enmity and hating with Shylock, this Antonio has come into the catch of the villain Shylock. And I will say here that only this Antonio is responsible for making all this, because man is there, and if there are some troublesome things in front of man, man cannot go there. But this Antonio knows very well that this Shylock is a bad person. Still, this gentleman, that Antonio, goes against Shylock and he makes a bond with him. That is the bad matter according to me. And that's why here this Antonio has come into the problem of the situation. Otherwise, Shylock shall cut a pound of flesh from his body. Point is that now this Shylock has become ready to cut the pound of flesh of his body only because of this Antonio. If this Antonio had not written such a bond with Shylock, then this situation wouldn't have come before all. Means this Antonio has been very much benevolent minded, and the persons who are really the benevolent minded or kind hearted persons, they are very much careless about their own life. That is the important point. And that's why here Shakespeare says that such type of persons are really careless about the life. And then what happens? Portia comes into the court and the situation changes. Antonio goes into the loss by looking that his sheep have been wrecked. Remember, no one can give the guarantee of the time, because every thing is brought before the person by the time. This Antonio doesn't think of the time, that the time is there in front of me, and in future what is served by the time for him, he was not known, or he did not think of the time, because the persons who have come upon this earth, they have the limit of the time, they have the limit of the nature, because everything is decided by the nature or the time. But this gentleman doesn't think of it, and he himself comes into the problems. Shylock finally wins the race. How he wins the race, we will see. Finally, Portia makes an argument that Shylock must cut a pound of flesh of Antonio's body without falling a drop of blood down upon the earth. Remember, there is the bond of Shylock with Antonio, that Antonio must return the money of Shylock within 3 months. And if Antonio fails to return that money within 3 months, then Shylock will take the pound of flesh from his body. Means Antonio will die. But now Portia decides that, Portia plays a very much game, a trick there, and she says in front of the court that Shylock can take the pound of flesh from Antonio's body, but he cannot drop a single, I will say, drop of the blood from the body of Antonio. Means he cannot throw, he cannot, I will say, lose, he cannot make the loss of the drop of blood from the body, and that drop of the blood should not fall upon the earth. And if Shylock is making this mistake while taking the pound of flesh from Antonio's body, and if the drop of blood falls upon the earth, then this Shylock will not be respected, he will be very much punished. And this point is there, and because of this point, Shylock is defeated, and in this way, this gentleman Antonio is saved by this Portia. This shrewd opinion is not there in the bond, and while taking the bond, Shylock forgets to write this statement. Here, William Shakespeare has said that though man is very much brilliant, but that man cannot write everything in the bond, because the thief is there, and if that thief steals something from the house of somebody, but that thief leaves some clues and he can be caught by the police. That is the important point here. And the same thing has happened with Shylock, because Shylock has made the bond with Antonio, but he has not written the particular sentence there in the bond, and only because of this sentence, this Antonio is saved by Portia. Here, that is the main point. Finally, Shylock goes to be lost here. Then Shylock is defeated, and Portia saves Antonio from the catch of Shylock. Thus, Antonio goes through problems due to his disposition. Here, remember, the main point is that here the nature, disposition, or the behavior of behaving Antonio is very simple, kind-hearted, benevolent-hearted. He is like a saint, and that's why here this situation has happened with him. Though he is the main hero of the drama. Remember, here this Antonio is the main hero of the drama, but this Antonio is not so impressive character. But though we can say that this is not the impressive character, but this is the impressive character, because finally this character has got the idealism, and because of this idealism, this character has caught the attraction of all the people in the world, and Shakespeare has become the famous person by writing this play. Thus, the main hero Antonio is saved by Portia, or Portia saves him. Antonio is called Othello due to his circle of the mankind heart. Remember, he is the person of public heart, and because of this public heart, he has become the man like Othello. Here we will say Antonio is useful, or I will say Antonio is unselfish man of sacrifice. Means here he has sacrificed for his friend Bassanio, and he has come into the problems of life. He has helped all characters to be happy. Means this Antonio has made all persons there in the play happy. All get married finally. Everybody goes to be married, and in this way, only because of this Antonio, it has happened. The drama ends happily finally. Only Antonio remains alone finally. Remember, this gentleman remains alone there in life. Nobody is there, but still Portia, Bassanio have been married, and that couple is ready to do anything for this Antonio. That is the main point. He tries to make others happy, keeping himself in problems. Remember, here Antonio is the character which is very much nice character, and he lives for others. He does not live for himself, and it is his mind that others should be happy, though we have or he has no happiness in life. And that's why this Antonio is called the tragic comic character, and that's why we can say that this is the tragic character. Means he has accepted sorrows in life. Then this gentleman is called the comic character because we laugh at him, because we can say that this is the senseless character, because this character has come into the problems, though persons have cheated him, and that's why we can say that this gentleman is a comic character. So here today we have seen the part 3 video number 35 of this subject. So we will again come together with a new topic. Till then, thank you very much.